This video is for one of my loyal supporters, as you can see in the video right now. And thanks for the support, I really appreciate it. And to all the other people that have requested a video, don't think that I forgot your request. The video is on the way. I'm working on it. And if you have suggestions on what video you want me to do, tell me in the comment section and I'll write it down on a sheet of paper in order just so that I don't forget. And if you are new to my channel and not subscribed, subscribe, because I drop basketball videos and I cover different topics of the NBA. And don't forget to hit that notification button to get notified whenever I drop a video if you are subscribed. Once again, it's Third Eye View 195 coming at you with my intellect. Stay tuned. Throughout Rondo's career, he would get into a lot of arguments with his coaches. But the reason why he would get into a lot of arguments with his coaches is because the amount of IQ that he has for the game. He thinks he knows more than his coaches do, to the point where you can't even correct him. Because during a film session, after the Celtics lost in Game 2 versus the Miami Heat back in the 2011 playoffs in the second round, it was reported that Rondo lost his temper when his mistakes that he committed in Game 2 were being mentioned. After that, he decided to call out his teammates for making mistakes in Game 2's loss because he felt the blame was being put all on him. And he was also speaking really loud and using curse words. Then that's when Doc Rivers got mad and stood up and responded to what Rondo was saying, and then Rondo got even more mad and decided to throw a water bottle, and he ended up shattering the video screen. But this wouldn't be the only time that he would get into an altercation with Doc Rivers.
Well, Rondo threw a bottle of water at me once. It wasn't at me though, Rondo.
Necessary? No, it wasn't at you, was it?
Hey,
That was
no, it wasn't
big
at me
screen.
anyway.
Yeah, but you could have got.
Something else. You know what? They might lead the league in player coach square up. Right. Yeah.
But this wasn't the only altercation that Rondo has had with the head coach during his career. Rondo would get traded to the Dallas Mavericks on December the 18th back in 2014, and he would get into a lot of arguments with Rick Carlisle. He was even suspended for one game after arguing with Rick Carlisle on the court. He only played for 46 games with the Mavericks that season. Then Rondo would end up on the Sacramento Kings, and George Karl even said this about him: "It's not going to be a season without confrontation for Rajon Rondo in Chicago." After Rondo left the Kings to go to the Bulls to play for them for the 2016-17 season. This is how you know Rondo was a thorn in George Karl's side while Rondo's short tenure with the Kings. So we all know that Rondo is currently playing for the Pelicans right now. I mean, if you don't know that, you must be living under a rock. But if you take it in, this is Rondo's 5th team that he's been on in the last 3 years. So this goes to show how detrimental he was on the teams that he was on before due to his behavior towards his coaches in the past. But shockingly, Rondo is still in the league. A lot of players wouldn't get this much chances. Now here are the 2 things that's saving Rondo's career. Number 1, getting along with his coaches. Rondo knew that if he continued to argue with his coaches, that it would cost him his NBA career, because he knew that teams wouldn't want to pick him up, because he's always been known as a player that is detrimental to any team that he's on. Plus, teams don't mind not having him anymore. It's not like years ago when it was being said that he's one of the best or the best point guards in the league. The game has changed a lot now, with the emergence of point guards being able to shoot, especially from the 3-point line. And on top of that, some of these players can do everything on the court as well, not just shoot. They can pass the ball and score any way that they want to, and they make their teammates better. They're not just able to shoot only, and they have really high IQ for the game as well. And this includes players like Damian Lillard, Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving, and more. Those are the point guards that most teams are looking for these days, especially in the draft, because teams know that you have to be a jump shooting team in order to win a championship these days, and how lethal a team can be with a point guard that can shoot. Unfortunately, most people don't value point guards like Rajon Rondo anymore. Only a few people do, because he doesn't have a jump shot and his game is not flashy like the other point guards in the NBA. To me, Rondo is still one of the best pure point guards in the league. Rondo started to change his attitude when he was on the Chicago Bulls last season. There were some ups and downs because he got suspended one game because it was reported that he got into an argument with the Bulls assistant coach, Jim Boylen, after the Bulls lost to the Mavericks in a game. But things do happen, it's life. because look at what happened with Giannis and one of the Bucks assistant coaches this past season. They got into an argument, and Giannis is one of the nicest NBA players in the league. He doesn't get himself into any type of trouble. And for Rondo, at least it wasn't a head coach for the team this time, which is an upgrade because he usually goes at it with the head coach. There was even a time where Rondo got benched as well, and this is how Rondo reacted to him getting benched. I felt like, in my opinion, he handled it in a mature way. Rondo said that the Bulls said I needed to be saved from myself. Saving me from myself? I've never heard that before in my life. I guess he was trying to do the best thing for me. Rondo could have handled it in a worse way. Just like how Hassan Whiteside handled not getting enough minutes this past season like he did in previous seasons, and tried to talk bad about his coach and send a message to the front office. But Rondo didn't handle it that way. He just sucked it up and kept going along with things. I feel like if it was a couple of years ago, Rondo would handle getting benched just like how Hassan Whiteside handled getting his minutes cut. So this is proof that Rondo grew as a person. Things would go in the right direction after this because Rondo would find his way back into the starting lineup, and there was no problems after this because Fred Hoiberg would even praise Rondo a number of times, saying stuff like this: Rajon Rondo has been unbelievable for the Chicago Bulls this year. He will make a terrific head coach in the future. He's obviously been in some situations that he probably hasn't been in his entire career since coming to Chicago, and he's handled it really well. The Bulls even wanted to bring back Rondo because that's how good he was for the team. The vice president of basketball operations for the Bulls, John Paxson, who actually played for the Bulls, he won 3 championships with them back in the 90s. He said that there's a really good chance that the team brings back Rondo for next season. And this is coming from a man that knows the game because he played the game. So he knows what's good and what's bad for a team. In New Orleans this past season, there were no altercations involving Rondo and any coach at all. Except for one time, Alvin Gentry had to bench Rondo because he never gave effort defensively in a game versus the Utah Jazz. But other than that, there has not been any problems. And Alvin Gentry gives Rondo a lot of freedom. Alvin Gentry said he's been there. He understands what it takes to win a ring, and our guys lean on him. And these are words from Rondo himself after a Game 1 win against the Portland Trail Blazers this past playoff series. He said, "Coach let me run the show a little bit. I was trying to stay on the same page with him. We had a lot of communication in the 4th quarter as far as what he wanted to run, and we got the job done together." Number 2, his playoff performance. It's proven that Rondo shows up when it comes to the playoffs. In last year's playoff with the Bulls, he averaged 11.5 points, 3.5 steals, 10 assists, and 8.5 rebounds in just 2 games. The Bulls would win the first 2 games in the series. They were the 8th seed, and they were upsetting the Boston Celtics, who were the number 1 seeded team last season. But unfortunately, Rondo would go on to break his right thumb, and he would be out for the rest of the playoffs. And the Celtics went on to win the series in 6 games. In my opinion, if Rondo never got injured, the Bulls would have beat the Celtics, and it would be 2007 all over again, where an 8th seeded team beat a number 1 seeded team, when the number 8 seeded team Golden State Warriors beat the number 1 seeded Dallas Mavericks back in the 2007 playoffs. This playoffs, Rondo has been proving this again by averaging 11 points, 13 assists, 7.5 rebounds in 4 games after the Pelicans upset and swept the Trailblazers. Portland was the 3rd seed and the Pelicans were the 6th seed, and the big part of this was because of Rondo, because he sets up the guys really well and he has a lot of playoff experience, and we all know that he's won a ring with the Celtics back in the 2008 playoffs. He also helps players flourish, whether that be on the court or off the court, and he just fits with the Pelicans. He's finally found a home and he's happy playing there. By Rondo showing up when it comes to the playoffs, it puts everyone on notice that he can be a very important piece to a team. And just because he doesn't play like your average modern day point guard that can shoot from all over the floor and that's flashy, he's still a point guard that a lot of teams should have, because they can use his veteran experience and IQ. Plus, he still has a lot of gas left in the tank. But that's how Rondo is saving his NBA career. But that's it for the video, guys. And like I always say, please like and subscribe and hit that notification button and comment below. Tell me what you think. Your opinion matters. And follow me on my Twitter and Instagram account. It's the same name as my YouTube channel name. And share this video. Peace!